Joined today by Orioles fan and VP of journalist and baseball nerd extraordinaire Alex Fast to talk about primarily what was a great month of June for the Orioles. First winning month in 5 years. What stood out to you?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I mean, it was great to watch Orioles baseball in the month of June. They were led by a fantastic offense. There's a great stat that I love to rely on called WRC plus, stands for weighted runs created plus. Great offensive metric that looks really at run creation, but it also brings into account the ballpark, brings into account the era in which people are playing. League average right at 100, anything above 100 being good, below 100 being poor. The Orioles, just one of 5 teams in the month of June that have at least 6 different players with a WRC plus over 100. What does that mean? It means that we had a lot of above average offensive players. The other 4 teams, Houston, the Yankees, Atlanta, and Toronto, very good offensive teams. So really great to see the Orioles a part of that group. Who led that charge? Mountcastle, Mullins, Rutschman, Hayes, Mancini, and Santander, all with WRC pluses over 100. Really fantastic Junes for them for a slew of different reasons, really.
Well, it was a great June last year for Ryan Mountcastle, too. He was the American League Rookie of the Month in June last year. He obviously won't be able to do that again, but he's certainly a leading candidate for Player of the Month. What stood out in his month when you look at Ryan Mountcastle?
Well, he led the team in slugging percentage with 7 home runs and 11 doubles. After he struggled a little bit against fastballs in May, he started crushing them again. Most importantly is what he's done against breaking pitches. Top 20 WOBA against breaking pitches in the month of June. Eno Saris wrote a really great article for The Athletic that came out today that talks about the largest improvement in barrel rate between April and June, and Ryan Mountcastle leads that list. If you're looking solely at the June barrel performers, who was barreling the ball the most in the month of June, the list goes Stanton, Schwarber, Ohtani, Judge, Mountcastle. Very, very good names that you want to be a part of. So great to see from Mountcastle.
June felt like a tale of 2 months in a sense for Adley Rutschman. He packed a lot into 1 month. It was a struggle to start. By the end of it, he's looking like the #1 pick that he was 3 years ago. What noticeable differences do you see with Adley?
Yeah, totally. If you take a look and kind of put a pin on June 10th, before that, really poor for Rutschman, really kind of slow start for him. Just a 200 WOBA, not really reaching base a lot. We talked about WRC plus 100 average, anything below really not good. He had a 23 WRC plus. Then June, he starts to cut down on the swing and miss, especially against heaters. He brings that OBP up after June 10th from 226 to 344. He nearly doubles his WOBA, and that WRC plus that was 23, it's now 163. That means he's 63% better than the average MLB player in that time span. Also stringing together that nice consecutive extra base streak at the end of the month. But I think it has to do with just kind of settling in and being able to focus in on those fastballs, make good contact, and have some good results.
You mentioned the fastballs for Adley Rutschman. For Cedric Mullins, it was a really good month of June as well. And we've seen him hit fastballs in the past, but maybe something a little bit different in June?
Yeah, definitely. You kind of hit the nail on the head. The fastballs he's been doing well with, and it's the change in off speed that's been fantastic for him. In the month of June, he really started to improve on those pitches. In May, he was just hitting 121 in terms of WOBA on changeups and splitters. He jumped that up to 431. This isn't just a small sample size case, too. He was getting a good amount of off-speed pitches, which makes sense. He was struggling against the pitch. Let's throw him more. And he really turned it around to the tune of a 303 average in the month of June. He picked up 5 stolen bases, which was second on the team behind Jorge Mateo. While he was the only Oriole to play at least 20 games and not have multiple home runs, he only had 1 home run in that month. It doesn't matter. We got plenty of pop in the lineup. His job is to get on base, steal those bases, play stellar outfield, which he's been doing as well. And he's been doing that job well overall.
About a year ago, I think a lot of Orioles fans felt like they had seen enough of Jorge Lopez, who couldn't get through the 4th or 5th inning. Now he tears through the 9th and sometimes the 8th inning with ruthless efficiency. So what has opened your eyes about possible all-star Jorge Lopez?
feel like it's kind of like Rodney Dangerfield. It's like, no respect, I tell you. I'm not going to do a Rodney Dangerfield impression.
You're flushing it, though. Keep it up.
The Orioles bullpen gets no respect. Maybe we can get like a photo of him doing it, because I just am so bored at that. But they don't get any respect. Right now, they are third in baseball in ERA, and no one is talking about that. In the month of June alone, 2 bullpens had a sub-3 ERA. It was the Yankees and it was the Orioles, okay? And no one, in my opinion, is talking about that a lot. There are a very large reason, not just the offense, as to why the Orioles have been as good as they are. One of the biggest reasons is that in that bullpen isn't just Batista, isn't just Dylan Tate. It's like you said, it's Jorge Lopez. This man has not allowed an earned run since May 19th. That's 18 consecutive innings without giving up an earned run. He does not have a single pitch with a batting average against over 155. And it's funny when I say doesn't have a single pitch, because when you think of a closer, you usually think of 1 pitch, maybe 2 pitches, right? But when it comes to Jorge Lopez, because of his experience as a starter, he has a wide depth of pitches that he can rely on. With that said, the sinker is one of the best sinkers in baseball right now by run value. Slider is a really good offering for him, and he can get you 2 ways. He's not just a rely on contact guy. That sinker can be an efficient put away pitch for him, but he can also induce a lot of weak contact. So he's got a large breadth of arsenal that he can rely on, and he's been using it very effectively.
I've been walking down the streets of Chicago and Seattle and Minneapolis, shaking people and saying the Orioles bullpen is in the top 3. So I don't know what everybody else is doing. That's just me, maybe.
I'm glad they finally let you out of prison for shaking all of those people on the street.
That's right. I'll be back in shortly, now that I've admitted this. So an 18-inning scoreless streak for Jorge Lopez, or without an earned run at least. Dean Kramer is at 18 2/3 scoreless as we record this after a really, really difficult first full year in the big leagues. A pretty seismic change in the Orioles rotation, what Dean Kramer's done.
Yeah, it's been really fantastic to watch. This is the pitcher that I think a lot of Orioles fans were hoping that we were going to get in the trade for Manny Machado, and he's really been kind of living up to that expectation recently. Yes, it's just been about 18.2 frames, but there have been some noticeable changes, right? Used to be a kind of fastball cutter curveball approach. He's pivoted a little bit. He's boosted that changeup. He's now fastball cutter changeup. Now, the changeup in and of itself has changed. It's added 4 inches of drop, and it has 6 more inches of drop than the usual changeup. And that's really important. As a pitcher, the last thing you want to be is average, because if you're average, that is what baseball players are seeing day in and day out. They're seeing average. When you're getting 6 more inches of drop on that changeup, that's really spectacular for him. The Orioles seem to have this changeup mentality in mind, which is of endless fascination to me. They throw the 3rd most changeups overall between bullpen and rotation in baseball. And that's without John Means. If John Means was there, you could make an argument that we would definitely be first. But it's been great to see that changeup approach for him. The cutter is also getting a lot of whiffs, picked up 10 against the White Sox, didn't do as well against Seattle, but that arsenal is really coming together. The changeup's improving the cutter, which is improving the 4-seamer. Is a low 1 ERA sustainable? No. His last name doesn't have 2 capital letters in it like Jacob deGrom does. But there is a good chance that this new cutter changeup combination could lead to Dean Kramer continuing to be the pitcher that we expected and hoped we would get from the Dodgers.
That's Alex Fast. What's your WCS plus, your weighted sleep created plus as a new dad right now?
As a new dad, I have, if 100 is average, I think I'm negative right now. I think I'm just like fully negative. I could be dreaming right now for all I know talking to you.
Well, thanks for spending your 10 waking minutes of the day with us, Alex. Always appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, man.